What's up, George? What's going on in the House of Craze tonight?
In the House of Crazy tonight, we have a very talented writer, Mr. Jason McNamara, is coming on. He's going to be talking to us about his new book that's coming out next month called Past Tense. So we're going to be talking to him, and we're also going to be talking about agreements, right? Contracts.
Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your meds, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we never miss a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I'm your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with
George, the Dreamer Medina. What's happening, everyone? Welcome
you crazy.
to another exciting episode of Catch the Craze. We are coming to you live. It is Tuesday, June 20th. Tomorrow's the first day of summer, and it's kind of crazy out there. But we are coming tonight with a whole new program. We have a great guest tonight. Mr. Jason McNamara will be joining us in just a few minutes. For those of you who don't know who that is, he has a book coming out from Dark Horse called Past Tense. It will be coming out in July. He also has written plenty of other books that you guys should check out. He is a very, very talented writer, and we're going to be talking about, obviously, our Get Your Meds segment for today. What's up, Lou? So we're going to be doing that. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to the channel. Give us a like, comment in the comments. Oh, okay. And yes, do all that. Do all that. Thank you so much for all our subscribers already. We're well over 1,000. It took us a while to get there, and now that we're there,
it's moving. It's moving. Every week it's moving, so that's good.
Moving. But yeah, no, I'm joining you with Sammy. Sammy, what's going on, dog? We came in a little late today, but
dude.
It's a hectic one.
All right, so normally it's an hour drive from my job to my home, but because I was working late, I had 45 minutes to get here. I did it in 28. I was like, and then it's funny because I didn't realize I was doing 95. Don't do what I do. All right. I was doing 95, and then I noticed that everybody's slowing down. I was like, why are they slowing down? I can see the horizon. There's no traffic, and it was a patrol car. I was like, oh. I was like,
that'll do it.
And then once I got to a point where he was too far behind, I was like, I was out.
Gotta make it to the show.
You don't understand. Yeah. You don't understand, Stan. You don't understand. So yeah. So I was dealing with that, but I'm excited. Because the proofs came in.
All right.
For book number 5, bang! There's book number 5. There's an alien in my toilet. It looks amazing. The proof is legit, too legit to quit. Some interiors, high gloss interiors. I'm excited about this, and not only that, but the graphic novel. So for those of you who didn't pick up the graphic novel, you're gonna wish you had, because this is fly. I mean, this, the full color graphic novel. There's an alien in my toilet. Dudarius Uranus. I approved the proofs. So I'm just waiting for them to be delivered to me, because they take forever. And so as soon as I get it, it'll take me about 48 hours, as long as I'm not traveling for work, to get it out to you guys. And we'll get that going. So I'm excited about that. Kid in the Comics is going strong. More stores picking it up. So a lot of stuff happening there. So that's more visibility. And the art channel continues to grow. That's doing really well as well. And I just finished doing a cover for issue number 6, and thumbnailing some of the pages for issue number 6 as well, which is in October. I'll be launching issue number 6 on Kickstarter.
In October, yeah, nice. Good stuff, man. Yeah, man. The saga continues.
The saga continues, man.
Yeah, man.
And the book tour continues. So in August, I got the Denton Comic Expo.
Mm-hmm.
And then the week after, I'll be at Collected Comics, the grand opening of their third or fourth store in their chain. And I'll be doing a book signing there. So that's pretty fly. And then in September and October, I have College Station Comic Con, and then I have another event. So yeah, I'm a pretty. Oh, what am I doing? I got all the events listed on this thing right here.
What are you
Toma.
doing?
So yeah, and then Arlington Comic Fest. So that's what's going on there. And again, if you don't know about A Kid in the Comic, go check it out. Go to akidinthecomic.com. akidinthecomic.com, where Duty is a newspaper. Duty's in a newspaper as a comic strip right here. Bang! This is right here. This is dope. And I've signed a contract for 7 issues, comic strips, and I've already submitted 4 of the 7. So, and they've only released the first paper. So that's exciting as well. So pretty dope.
Nice, dude. Nice. Yeah.
Did you do your book signing already?
No, that is coming up in July. So that's a month away. July 19th, we will be doing a book signing with the folks over at Designated, the comic book by Mark Torres. We have a book signing that will be happening in July. So that's July 19th. And it's going to be over at Royal Collectibles in Flushing. That's 9601 Metropolitan Avenue in Flushing. So if you're in the New York area, down in Queens, go check it out. Wednesday, July 19th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. I'll be there with Mark Torres, Jenny Feldy, Russ Braun, and we're going to be signing copies of the book Designated. It's a comic book created by Mr. Mark Torres 30 years ago. It's finally out, and he's promoting it. He's doing his thing. So we're going to be signing some books July 19th. So if you're in the area, definitely head out there. That's going down for me. Also, if you want to check out some more of my stuff, go to getyourmeds.com. Go to my website, check that out. Pick up a copy of The Adventures of Wonder Duck, Russ 5377. Pick up some t-shirts, all that other fun stuff. So yeah, so that's what's going on in my world. Next year, I really want to start doing some conventions. I have my eyes set on Wicked in Boston next year.
Yeah. Speaking of conventions, yo, can you believe that Fan Expo in Texas, they raised their prices for Artist Alley to $460?
I believe it, dog. Damn,
$460 for a 6-foot table.
How much was it? Like, how much was it before?
They raised it by $117.
Oh wow, damn.
6-foot table, and you're tight. You don't have room. You're walking with everybody else. I went to freaking the convention in Waco. They give you a 10-foot by 10-foot booth with an 8-foot table for $300.
Yeah.
And they take care of you. Fan Expo doesn't even put your name on the list. They change your position last minute. And I found out from a guy who's a big fan, comic book collector. He went to Fan Expo. He said they turned off the AC for the weekend.
Damn.
For the entire weekend, they were claiming that it was some city ordinance thing. Yo, so you're gonna charge all this money and you can't even create a comfortable environment? Get out of here, man. So I'm not doing Fan Expo next year. I was gonna do it, but I'm not paying $500 when I can just go to a convention in Austin and pay $200 and I just drive out there. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, man.
There's no respect for the artist anymore. They're charging you what they were charging for freaking small press booths. You know what I mean? And they're giving you half the space.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. I feel like the bigger the con, the more they feel like they can get away with some of that.
The bigger the con, the bigger the con.
Yeah, seriously. Basically,
that's what it is. It's like, it's outrageous.
It's not,
and they believe that they can. So I'm like, I'm not doing. I'm none of the Fan Expos. I'm signing up for next year. I'm just gonna go to their competitors.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. The other thing that's going on in my camp is that Russ 5377, which is my first book that I published,
which was my favorite.
Yeah. So the book is going to be featured and it's going to be distributed, and you guys can pick it up at anyoneworld.com. So check out Any One World. That's affiliated with ASAP Imagination. Big shout out to ASAP, Hades, and everybody over there. So the digital copies will be releasing next week, June 28th. You will be able to get your copies digitally for issue number 1 of Russ 5377. So make sure you do that. I agree, definitely, for sure. And so that's great. And I'm also going to be working with ASAP as a writer. I'm going to be doing some writing for one of their titles. I can't wait for you guys to check that out. Dead of Night is the name of the title. So I'll be working with them on that. So yeah, man, I'm busy and I'm lettering books. So if you need any lettering, hit me up. Do that for show. Speaking of writing, and I know we're gonna have Jason on in just a few minutes. We're also gonna be doing our Get Your Mets. But before we get into Get Your Mets, because I know Jay will be coming in right after, just a quick bio of Jason McNamara and why you guys should stick around and check out the interview. He has consulted on projects with the Golden State Warriors, Lucasfilm. He's done things for Crimson Consulting. He's been published through Image Comics. He's done a few things, man. He's also a teacher. He teaches script writing at Pacific Northwest College of Art and over in the West Coast. So he's done a few things.
He's got a resume of resumes.
He's got a bunch of stuff. One of my favorite, it's funny because one of my favorite books, and it's a book that I picked up before I even realized who he was, is called The Martian Confederacy. And I thought it was just a brilliant indie book. I just thought it was a really good indie book. And come to find out, he's the writer on it. So I'm very excited about his next book, which is Past Tense. And we're going to have him on in a few minutes. But why don't we talk a little bit about the topic, Sam, since we came in a little late? You know what I mean? Today, why don't we do that?
Let's do this.
It's time for your medicine.
Handshakes are not agreements.
Handshakes are not agreements. Remember that.
Remember that. So recently, somebody I know in the comic world posted on social media that he thought he had a friend. They had an agreement. They did a project together, and the friend threatened to take it from him and steal the project or whatever. So that for me, I was like, yo, you didn't put anything on paper when you created it together. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. So they went on a handshake. And if we learn nothing from Robert Kirkman and his artist, Ryan Otley, and that whole debacle, and exposure is not currency. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Right. We didn't learn anything from from people in the industry and what that was. You're setting yourself up for a painful journey, because here's what happens. And the reason why a handshake is not legit, because people have amnesia. I don't remember that. Right. And it's not on paper. There's no point of reference. Right. There was no written agreement. So when money starts coming in, that's when people start acting up. Right. And next, they forget who you is. And so it's in your best interest, especially when you're doing something from the onset. It's just an exchange of DNA. That's right. Yeah. It's just like Hilda back in when I was what Hilda, you say DNA. I have a blood sister somewhere on this planet. When I was I think I was in the fourth grade, and
you see how you just beard. Like you mentioned one thing, it's like, oh,
we cut each other, and we were like blood. We did a blood plaque. God. And anyway, so Hilda, wherever you are, I wonder if you're okay. Anyway, Hilda. So I think when I read that, I was like, yo, how do you not know? How do you not know?
Will. Yeah.
Thank you. And and it's like you have to protect yourself. No matter what, even if it's your brother. Even if it's your cousin, man, you have to, because when it comes to money and business, people act funny, right? So you want to make sure that you don't want to have those conversations, down the road. Protect yourself, and then go from there. But don't just live it on a handshake, especially when you put in a project and you're pitching it to a publisher, and it's not protected. You know what I mean? Anybody can snatch it up. So it's like you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position. It's just no bueno.
No, big time, man, big time. Handshakes are not agreements. And you know what? I think that some people may say, yeah, but if you sign a contract, right? What does that matter? I mean, is somebody really going to go through the trouble of hiring a lawyer and all this other stuff? I mean, if it's worth it, absolutely. But the other thing is, it's also when you write it down, it's written down as far as like what you guys are agreeing to. You know what I mean? You and I can say, all right, Sam, we're going to do this. We're going to write this book, and that's it. Shake on it. And then we start, building characters and creating worlds and all this other stuff. And it's like, all right, what did you create? What did I create? What, how much input did you have? How much input did I? There's nothing. I mean, we don't know. It just happened, and you forget what happened. Then it becomes he said, she said, right? It becomes he said at this point. And so nobody really knows what went down unless it's written down and there are things on paper that say, okay, this is what we did and this is what we're agreeing to. So yeah, handshakes. I mean, listen, man, that's that's no bueno. Don't
No
do
bueno.
it.
No
Don't
bueno.
just
Yeah,
go
I'll
there,
give you a perfect.
shake
I'll
somebody's
give
hand
you
and
a
think it's cool.
perfect example. I was in the music industry, right? And you know, we created an EP. We're shopping it around.
Mhm.
Before we got to shop, we didn't figure out terms of the group. We were shopping it around, and we were just like, we're all just gonna split it even. But
Right.
once we saw the money, then everyone started acting funny. I didn't give a damn, right? I thought it was just gonna be cool across the board. We're all gonna share, no matter who did more, whatever. I was like, we're in it together, right?
Yeah.
But some of the guys were like, nah, I want a bigger stake because I did this, and I want this, and I want that. And so we broke up the group, and I went solo. And it was that was the perfect example when we were just on the corner and we were just having fun. It was like, yeah, we're all gonna, you know, we're gonna have fun and we're gonna make money together and all that stuff, whatever. We started doing shows. Oh yeah, we're gonna make money. But then once record labels showed interest, that's when people started acting weird, right? And so that's what I'm saying. You got to put it on paper, because no matter what, when it comes to money, people like funny, and that's why you want to just make sure you protect yourself.
You know what the worst? What's up? But at least you know what the worst thing is, dude. When people act funny when there is no money.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Even when
we know people like that.
even when there is no money, bro.
Yes.
There's something about, you know, just egos. You know,
Mhm.
egos getting, sometimes egos are even a bigger problem. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like, you know, a handshake means nothing. You lose friends over stuff like that, man. You
Yeah.
definitely lose friends over stuff like that. Like it's like, oh no, well, I did that. That
Yeah.
money was like the Yoko Ono of your group.
You know, it's funny. It's because even in the beginning, like we had a manager, we had a producer,
Yeah.
right? I trusted my manager. He was the one who's collecting the money. I didn't question it. Maybe because I was naive, I was young, but I was like, I didn't question it. I knew that he was going to do the right thing because I saw that he was paying for the limo. I saw that he was paying for the studio time. I saw where the money was going, right? So then when we got a couple of money in our pocket, I was like, oh, look at what I was just having fun, right? We were just having fun. But then next year, the conversation went sideways. I'm like, wait, what's going on? I thought we were just gonna have fun, you know what I mean? It's like, and we're just gonna make money together. And so again, that taught me a big lesson. It was like, oh, okay, I see how this is. You know what I mean? It isn't about friendship now anymore. You know, we're all from the same neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? We were all trying to get out the neighborhood together. But now you want to switch up. So it's like that's why when I saw this post, I was like, why would you do that to yourself? Why would you put yourself in that position? All the lessons out there, all of the podcasts out there, all of the walking through fires and the bleeding. Why would you do that to yourself?
Was this you said they were best friends that did this? Like
they were close friends. And the way it was worded is it was close friend, and I didn't expect this, and I felt betrayed, and I was like, why would you even put yourself in that position? Because again, people will, you know, you never know. I mean, and then, but you know what? Good thing it happened then, because now you see the person, right? That you see the true colors, right? I'm sure there were signals that we didn't pick up on, right? So you could have picked up on some signals in the early on, but it's a learning. Take it as a learning, chalk it up, and now make sure that going forward, you don't repeat.
Yeah, dude. The first thing I do, man, when I create anything is send it out to get copywritten, you know? Copyright, you know?
Every issue that I write.
Yeah.
Every issue that I write, copywritten. Just, you know, even though the series is there, I copy. Even when I finish this trademark, because this is a new version, it's a colored version, right? And some of the dialogues changed from the original. I sent it when I changed the dialogue. I sent it for the revision of the script to get copywritten, right? Because you never know. You know, it's like it's one of those things where any kind of adjustments I do now, it's no longer the original. I do it just for my own sanity, so I can sleep at night.
Damn, bro. That's
yeah, I'm a little extreme, but
yeah, that gets very expensive. Each copyright nowadays,
I know,
$70. Yeah.
I know, but you know, it's one of those things where it's like, well, you see it. I mean, I went to Licensing Expo. You see the sharks that are coming for you, right? Yeah. And it's like, even though there are companies that you know they have divisions to protect them. When it comes to the talent, if they can snatch it up from you and own your publishing and own this, they're going to do that. So that's why you want to protect yourself when especially before you pitch anything to anybody. Make sure you secure your rights, because they can just go in and just take it from you and say, I never said we had this in the pipeline for a long time, right? And so then they know you're not going to go and try to hire an entertainment lawyer to try to fight it, right? You know, so it's one of those things where you really have to try to do everything in your power to make sure that you can sleep at night, and that you can have a good standing relationship. If you secure it in the beginning, holistically, in the beginning, then whatever happens in the future, you're good. Everybody's good. There's no talking about it anymore, right? But what happens is you don't do it in the beginning. Now later on, the conversation becomes uncomfortable.
Yeah,
right?
no, for sure, absolutely, man, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, the way we're doing things today, handshakes are just not enough.
It's not.
If you want to do this seriously, if you really want to take this to the next level, and you want to do it, you want to do this professionally or anything like that, gotta go through the proper channels, man. It can't just be a thing of like, hey, man, you want to work on this? People are people, Human nature takes over, and sometimes it's for the worst.
And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but that's the way society is, right? Because society is like, get your money, right? Don't let anybody stand in your way. Do what you got to do. It's all about you, right? But they don't teach the integrity part, right? Credibility part, right? Respect, honor. Those values are missing in today's world, right? Because it's getting more and more shady. Mm-hmm. So you just want to make sure that anything you do, protect it first.
Yeah.
Like I got things in the pipeline. No one knows until it's ready, right? So I have things that I'm working on in the back end that I'm just working in. It's in the lab. It's all lab. I'm like a mad scientist, just creating. When it's ready, that when I show it, that means it's protected.
Well, yeah, I mean that can be a whole other topic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a matter of finishing your stuff. Like I'm a big proponent of don't promote something that isn't finished. Like if it's not done yet, don't promote. There's no point in promoting something that's not finished, because you know what happens is, as indies, it's part of the stigma of an indie, right? They don't get stuff done. They don't get things finished. They never finish what they start. So, but we get excited, right? We just created this thing where we're halfway through issue 1 and we're promoting the crap out of this thing as an ongoing series. It's going to go on forever, and it may not.
Forever. No, it may not.
Your ideas may be forever, ever, but your work, the work that you're putting out, may not be, because you just don't have the money or the time or both.
Yeah, it's the things you can't show is the things that you are releasing, right? It's like that's the stuff that you have the stuff ready. You can start releasing. The thing that you don't want to show is the things that that you really haven't really come full circle with, and But I think learn from this. I mean, guys, gals, everybody out there, there's so much information out there to help educate you and protect you. You got to use it. Don't just watch it. Absorb it. Use that information. Protect yourself. Anything you do in life, save your money. Spend the money for copyright. Do the poor man's version until you can raise the money to do the legal way, right?
That thing doesn't always protect you, though, bro. Like
it doesn't always, but it'll stand up in court. It will.
No,
yes, it will.
Yeah, it won't.
It will. You have a case?
No. I've spoken to when I went to LegalZoom, and I was talking to a lawyer on LegalZoom. Yeah. And the copyright lawyer said that doesn't cover you, at least not in New York. I don't know anywhere else, but it's not. A court will not. It used to, but it doesn't anymore because the laws have changed. So
really, I'm gonna look that up. I'll bring that up on the Crazy Tunnel Less.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Look it up.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah. But again, protect yourself. Money. Don't act funny.
Don't be acting funny, son.
Don't be acting funny. It's just good business, bro. Just and you know what? If you do it in the beginning, your relationship won't be tainted. You do it later, there's gonna be adversity and sour grapes and maybe fisticuffs. You don't want that, right? Yeah, so it's like, why even put yourself through that whole mess? It is what it is, but it's tough. It's tough when I see stuff like that, because it's funny because a lot of my if I'm not getting topics for the Crazy Tunnel Less from listeners of the show, I'll get it from posts that I see on social media, and I'm like, yo, that's a good topic right there, right? And so I'm like, bam, in the lab, right? And so when I see this stuff, I'm like, yo, we talked about that a dozen times. Yo, how come you not listening to Catch the Craze? We could have helped you through this process. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, man. What do you think? We got 600 videos in this channel. Go into the archives, man. Jeez. It's like, yo, before anybody was schooling, we were schooling. So just go into the archives. It's like, it's there for you. It's there to protect you. Do your thing, Jack Ching, bada bing, and don't act up. I'm just saying. Yeah.
But that is the topic. Yeah, we should do a topic on. We'll definitely do something on copyrights. Look for that.
Because, I'm gonna look that up. I think we should cover that next week.
Yeah. So the way, do it, and then we'll talk about it. But yeah. No,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
it's really cool because the world changes, right? And so I see that our guest is in the waiting room.
Awesome.
So before we bring him in, well, like we want to bring up a word from our sponsors.
Sponsor.
If you're a writer, podcaster, artist, or indie creator of any kind, you'll know what a struggle it can be to find creative services at an affordable price. And that's where Gig comes in. The global indie group has everything you need under one roof. You can connect with publishers, writers, editors, artists, videographers, musicians, composers, voiceover artists, podcasters, and more.
Hi, I'm Lori Calcaterra, and I'm on Gig.
Hi, this is Ben from Comic Book Squares, and we're on Gig.
This is George Medina, and I'm on Gig.
Hi, I'm Morgan, and I'm on Gig.
I'm Lauren.
And I'm Matt, and we're Hops Geek News.
The geek-centric beer-loving pop culture podcast.
We're on Gig.
Cheers.
Hi, I'm Letzi, and I'm on Gig.
Hi, I'm Witty, and I'm on Gig.
We're on Gig.
Head to globalindiegroup.com now and check it out.
Welcome, Jason, to the show.
Greetings. Thank you for having me, gentlemen.
What's going on, Jay? How you doing, man?
Not much. Hey, is it Samuel?
Yeah.
I see you drinking. I thought this was a family show. Jorge told me it's a family show. I gotta watch it.
Yes.
I can't come in hot.
We keep it in the family.
I'm so
There you
disappointed in you guys. That's really a shame.
Salud.
Barakata.
There you go.
Jorge was like, just be yourself, but just don't be you. Because they don't curse on this show.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes.
I got it all out earlier.
Yeah, once that cursing starts, then I gotta put that up.
It's a slippery slope, man. My father was a longshoreman. So when they say curse like a longshoreman, he did. We did everything like longshoremen.
There you go.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Jason, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. Are you teaching tonight? Are you heading out somewhere?
No, I got this summer off from teaching.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't have to see those kids for a while. One of the kids was like, at the last minute, they're like, I got permission to do an independent study with you over the summer. I was like, the hell you did. This phone's going on silent. I'm not checking this email for months. Teaching is like, it's like climbing a mountain, or it's like making an independent comic book. At the very beginning, you're like, why am I doing this? I should have been a mailman. I could like donate my organs. I could do anything else for money but this. And then like the ride starts and you get involved and you start talking to the kids. You start hearing about how passionate they are about story. And then you just jump in. And teaching is like, it's like a gas. It just takes all the room you have. So this summer I was like, I got to write some outlines. I got to ship some books. I got to finish creative stuff. So this summer I was like, I am not doing any teaching.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
No.
Well, listen, man. I'm glad you made it on the show. There's so much to talk about, man. You've done so many things. Teaching, obviously, I spoke about this earlier. You teach script writing.
I teach comic book script writing.
Comic books,
the best kind of script writing.
Yeah, the best.
I don't want to talk about it. Screenwriting. I'm not here for that, guys.
There you go.
That trash.
I told you, George. Don't ask him any questions.
Waste my time with script writing. You want to write for cartoons? Get somebody else. I write comic books. The greatest art form on the planet.
Yeah,
there you go.
Go kick rock, sucker. Yeah. So I teach comic book script writing. I have my own sort of. I didn't think I'd be really good at it. The school reached out and they're like, this is a need that we have. And I had written a bunch of comic books, but you never really think about like, how did I do that? You know what I mean? Like you argue with artists, you argue with printers, you have a couple of drinks, and boom, there's a book.
Done.
Done. So I had to backtrack and think about like, do I have a process? Like, do I have a pedagogy? Like, do I have some sort of highfalutin $10 word for what I do? And it turns out I do have a process. So once I backtrack like how I make things, then I could teach it to the kids, and kids, they're in their 20s, they're college kids. To me, they're kids because they can't drink. So yeah, to be able to crystallize how I make books has made it so much easier for me to write comics.
Interesting.
Nice.
And in the very first semester I taught, writers were always thinking like, am I a complete fraud? Am I like half a fraud? Am I 0.25 fraud? So the very first semester I taught the class, I said with the kids, I'm going to go through all these steps with you, and I'm going to ideate a graphic novel as well. So in the first week of class, we come up with story ideas, and then we pitch them to everybody. And I want them to have the experience of pitching, because the very first time I pitched an editor, I broke down in tears. I had no idea what I was doing. I really did. There's all this pressure. Oh my God, I could tell you that story. Yeah, but
yes, tell us that story after this. Go ahead.
So anyway, I have all the kids pitch, and I think, okay, now everyone vote for your favorite. Which one do you think is the most visually interesting story? Right. And the student doesn't have to do that, but they should hear from their peers, which there may be one that is more, popular than you think. Right. And this happens in pitches, right? You might pitch an editor 3 things, and you're like, please don't pick the third one. Please don't. Oh, they want the third one. Damn. So I had pitched 3 different things, and the kids were all like, they were unanimously like, oh, that one about the cameras in the future, that's a good idea. And I was like, cool. So I went through all the steps with the kids. I wrote the outline. I wrote the beat sheet. I started scripting it. And then I was like, hey, this is pretty good. So, and that eventually became, spoiler alert, this book I'm holding in my hands right here, Past Tense.
Oh, wow.
It comes out in stores July 12th.
All right.
And it makes a great gift for someone you don't like. It's not a feel-good book. It's not going to improve your opinion of humanity. But it will hopefully tell you something about the times that we're living in.
That's so cool.
So, yeah, so this comic, if they hadn't recruited me to teach, this book probably wouldn't exist.
You wouldn't have done it, right? Yeah. You wouldn't have done it. That's freaking awesome.
I should have paid them for the experience.
Seriously. So tell us that story about the time you pitched something to an editor. You cried. Tell us.
Yeah, I'm fascinated. I'm all ears right now.
I'm probably gonna bawl again if I tell the story. I'm gonna go through this whole bottle of bullet. Okay, so I had self-published a comic book with my best friend in the world, Tony Talbert. I've got the cover over here on the wall. I bet the world to me, and I finally did it, And I had reached out to an editor, a publisher that I knew, and I, it's pretty much badgered him. I'm like, hey, I kept sending him copies of Less Than Hero, and he's like, yeah, we don't want to do this kind of book though. This is a book about a junkie superhero. It's like super vile book that I thought was like my normal life on a comic book page, and most people don't want to read that, and that's fine. So I was like, okay, I'm going to come up with something. I looked at his line of books, and I'm like, I got a sweet thing that I think he'll love. And I had written a bunch of it, and I had the whole thing in my head, but I had no way to describe the book quickly and efficiently, right? Mm-hmm. So he was like, okay, come to the booth at like 12:30. So I'm like, I'm there at 12:15. I'm so excited. I think this book is awesome. I can't wait to, his mind's going to be blown when he hears what I got going. And there's other people waiting. I realize, oh, he's talking to a bunch of different people. It's like a cattle call. Like he's got like an hour to talk, to do pitches. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm hanging around the booth. Other people are hanging around the booth. They're like staring hate holes in me. I'm staring hate holes in them. And I'm thinking, these suckers, they don't got what I got. Oof, they're all leaving here in a hearse. I don't know why you showed up today. So then I get to him and I'm like, all right, cool. Like this happens and it's about this, and then this happens, and he's like, okay. And I can just see the look on his face, like, and now I'm just rambling. And I didn't have like an elevator pitch. I didn't have the story in 3 sentences. I had this story in 96 pages. And I'm just describing like key scenes, like, oh, this happens and then this happens. It's kind of like this. And he was just like, okay. I could just see him like, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I can't follow any of this. And I was like, oh my God. And like, I could feel all the other people that are waiting to go next staring at the back of my head, and I'm failing publicly, and I'm not trying to keep it together. I'm like, oh, but my story's so good. Why can't I describe it? Why doesn't he get it? Why doesn't no one get my genius? So yeah, I like flamed that. He's like, okay. He's like, Mac. He like, he knew me enough to be like, come back tomorrow and give me the top of your pyramid. He's like, give me 3 sentences and tell me what it's like. So, and he like pointed at like Boom or something. He's like, they call that like Star Trek meets The Lion King or whatever it was, right? He's like, I know that you know your story. Nobody else understands what you're talking about. And I was all like, which is great advice, honestly.
Yeah.
So I left there totally dejected. I had to walk past all the people that I thought I was We probably all have movie deals and like a house in Malibu now, you know.
Oh man, that's
so
terrible,
I
dude.
had a friend. There was a friend like at my booth, and he had worked at Rockstar, and I was like, "What does top of the pyramid mean?" Like, I thought the Mayans did that. I was like, UFO. What's he talking about? And then he was like, "No, dude, you just have to give him like 3 sentences." And he broke it down for me. Like, your first sentence is the first act, the second sentence is the second act, and the third sentence is the third act in the form of a question. Because you never tell people how your story ends, and that's what I opened up with. I'm like, and then it ends with this. If you tell a gatekeeper or any editor how your book ends, they're your first audience member. They're going to stop listening. You told them the best part, the end.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Cool, thanks for a free story." Bye.
Deuces.
So I was like, okay, 3 sentences, but it's a really complicated story. It's a sci-fi story. So eventually I think I had 6 sentences. Because, you know, I just can't take any sort of feedback. At the time I could. I'm much better now. So I went back the next day and I gave him my 6 sentences and I gave him the comparison, which I hate to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, it's like Rashomon meets Die Hard or whatever. I hate that. But it does quickly tell you tonally if that's for you or not.
Correct.
And I equate it to like the knock on the door. Here in Portland, we have a lot of like door-to-door salesmen. I don't know why. It's like the last place. I've never lived somewhere where they do that. But they'll knock on your door and you open the door and they'll say, "Do you have time to talk about solar power?" I'm like, no, knocks on doors. Like, if you knock on my door, my house better be on fire. Like ninjas should be streaming in the chimney. But I equate like the 3-sentence pitch is that knock on the door. And if an editor or a gatekeeper wants to hear more, they're going to open that door up a little bit, and then you can give them an outline. And if they really like that, you can open it up a little bit more, and they'll ask for a script. And that's generally how it goes, right? So anytime you have the opportunity to talk to a gatekeeper or an editor, you should always have 3 pitches, because you never know when you're going to be in that room again. You'll never know when you're going to have that opportunity again. I talked to so many of my students of like, no, this is my one story, and I got to tell it. And it's like a 12-volume epic that takes place in the eye of a unicorn. And I'm like, okay. Like, yeah, I'm already like, stop it. You're not. None of us are one story, right? We within us are a multitude of stories. That's why we're writers.
Right.
So I often tell people, like, save that, put that in your back pocket. And I feel the longer you hold, and this is just me, I think the longer you hang on to a story, the less you should do it. Because the reason you wanted to tell that story has now changed, and you change constantly as a creative person. And the reason you wanted to tell that story isn't there anymore. You're doing an impression of you from a year ago or 2 years ago. So anytime I hear someone who's like, "Oh, I wanted to tell the story for like 6-7 years," I was like, "You're never going to tell that story. I'm sorry. And you shouldn't. Tell a different story. You're a storyteller. Write something else." That's the best advice I ever got. Was Brian Wood, who does like DMZ and a bunch of stuff. I had pitched something, and the editor was like, "It's just too short. We don't do things that are that short." And I remember being like, "Oh man, what should I do?" And he looked at me like I was like the dumbest person who, like I should be swallowing my tongue at every instance. And he was like, "I don't know, Mac, write more." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a pretty sweet idea, Brian Wood." Yeah, I guess I'll just write more. And it worked.
Oh shit!
You know,
I
love really tightly told stories.
Yeah.
But publishers, a graphic novel cannot be 48 pages. I mean, it can if you're fantastic, right? And I've read those. Like if you're Brubaker, you could do a 76-page graphic novel like called Pulp, and it'll be like one of the best graphic novels in the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you ask me a question, or did I just start talking?
No, I said hello, and you just
said hello, and then I said, "Can I get a word in?" Let me tell you about my childhood. Let me tell you about me crying in public.
Let me tell you something.
My ice is melting, and I got places to be. I have brain cells to kill.
Well, this is.
But wait, hold on. Wait, you did mention.
No,
and you were talking about putting together. You can hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Yeah. You were talking about beats. For anybody who's new to this and doesn't understand what beats are, can you go into that?
Okay, so comic books, your canvas in a comic book is the page, right? So how long a prose novel is however long it is. And a movie is like, I don't know, 88 minutes to 300 minutes. A comic book, a graphic novel, has a finite amount of pages that you have to work with. So what you do is you make a plan for what happens on every single page. Before you start scripting, before you write a line of dialogue, I will take a notebook and I'll make a list of 1 through 96. And then I pace out my story at a really high level. And then you can look at it and say like, oh, I've got like a 5-page talkie scene here. That's too long. Or we haven't seen this character in a while. Let's move his scene up over here. And then you can look at the flow and the cadence of your story at a really high level before you get into trouble scripting. Because if you just start scripting, like, how do you know how long a scene's supposed to be? Like, I'm really didactic when it comes to the 3-act structure. So if I have 96 pages in here, and the Rattler was 96 pages, and Continuity was 96 pages, and Ghostband is 96 pages, because I almost always write a 96-page script, so that the first act ends on page 24. Right. And that if you tear the book in half in the middle, will be the emotional low point of the character. So I lodge that stuff in first. I know what the inciting incident is going to be. I know what the decision is that starts the second act. So I plug those in first, and then I move things around at a high level, like one sentence. So then when I go to write that page, I know it's a 2-page scene. So I have 2 pages now. I know how it starts and I know how it ends. How does the rest of it flow? Right. So that's what a beat sheet is. And I did I used to work part-time at a shop called the Isotope Comic Shop in San Francisco. And Jeff Johns was in there doing a signing. And he left it. He showed me his notebook, and his notebook is he was writing like 6 DC books at a time. And he was like, "This is what I do. I just do a line for what happens in every page. Like Martian Hunter does this, the Flash does this, and he's got 20 lines to work with, and he massages those 20 lines, and then he goes and writes the script because he's got the story all figured out in his head first."
Yeah,
that's fascinating because that's also Sylvester Stallone's approach. Right, I was watching an interview with right? Yo, Adrian.
I need to call that a segue.
So when they asked him about his process, that's what he does. He writes down what they're going to do, then he starts fleshing it out and writing the script. But he goes scene by scene what should happen, and then he builds from there. Yeah. So when you were talking, that's the first thing I thought about was that interview.
So the only interview I remember from Sylvester Stallone is they asked him like in the 80s why he dates younger women. His response was, "I don't know, why do people buy puppies?" He's so what we're trying to say is Sly is a genius.
There you go. That's a good comeback.
Sly is a genius.
He is an Oscar-winning filmmaker.
There he is.
You can't take that from him.
That he is, man.
He's gold.
Yeah.
So Jake,
Sly and I have a lot in common.
Yeah. Tell us about Past Tense, man. Tell us a little bit about the book that's coming out in July, and everybody should pick it up. July 12th.
July 12th. Okay. Ashley is a tour guide at Past Tense, a company that sends camera drones into the past to view history's most depraved events. When Ashley discovers Silas Green, an unknown serial killer working in the past, she begins hosting exclusive tours of his murders. The only problem? Silas is still alive in the present, and when he learns of his newfound infamy, he's inspired to come out of retirement to make Ashley his final victim, now and forever.
Oh, I love that. That's a great plot twist.
All right.
So
you got me.
Give me your money.
This guy knows what he's doing, man.
Buy hundreds of copies.
I don't know how I got caught up in this, but he got me.
There you go. Okay. I'm going to send you my Venmo, and we're going to sort it all out. I'm going to put you down for 1,000 copies.
There you go. Yes, I'll just put on George's credit card. It's good.
Yeah. Thank you, George.
You got it. No problem, dude. No problem.
So I love true crime podcasts, and they're always like, the assailant did this, but they don't know who it was. Or like the Long Island serial killer was just off camera at one point, and had he been like 5 feet over, we could have solved that murder. So I kept thinking, like, man, if we had a video camera on like Jack the Ripper, only we had a video camera on Son of Sam, we could solve so many mysteries that plague us. Because I'm always like, I want to know, how long do I have to live to find out who the Son of Sam, not Son of Sam, the Zodiac killer was.
Zodiac killer, right?
And then I started thinking, like, sometimes we'll like pop in on an ex or someone we went to high school with. We'll just put him into Facebook and peep on their lives really quickly and then get out, right? It's almost like low stakes stalking. So of course I wanted to take that idea and push it to like the 9th degree, where now that we can actually send a camera drone back through past, not to change past, not to change history, but to view it as it actually occurred. And I think, if we have this technological advancement to have an unfiltered view of history, there's many things that we could look at. We could look at the dawn of the universe, the Big Bang. We could look at, our religious history, the crucifixion maybe, or we could just look at grisly stuff happening to women. And I think most people are going to go for number 3. I think if you can afford this service, you're going to be like, show me the most disturbing, heinous things that no one has ever seen or even knows about.
Right.
I just see technology being abused that way now in real life, right? Like we have those Apple Air tags came out to put in your luggage. But of course, guys are like, oh, great. I'm going to put this in a woman's purse so I can follow her home. Now I know where she lives. Like we're abusing privacy all the time, and it affects the most vulnerable among us. So the book is about that in the form of a slasher sort of setup. I would call it a Cronenbergian thriller.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Now, let me ask you a question.
Did I bring down their room by talking about horrible things?
No,
because I was gonna go for. I wanted to see who built the pyramids, but that was just that was just me.
But horrible things happening to people. That's more exciting.
When you pitched it, Jay, when you went to pitch it, did you do the 3 sentences, or did you?
I did. I absolutely did.
Yeah,
I had it. We had a mutual friend, and I was introduced to my editor. Brett Israel, my future editor. At this time, he was not my editor. And I was like, hey, I'm just, these are a couple of things I'm working on. I sent him 3 things that I was working on. And he was like, past tense sounds interesting. If you have an outline, we'd love to take a look at it. I'm like, of course I had an outline. I've got outlines for everything. I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to make anyone wait. When that door is opening, I'm getting through. I'm giving as much through that door while it's open. So the same day I sent over an outline, and I had actually already written the first issue, or the first 24 pages. Right. At that point, I always frame things to editors or gatekeepers like it could be a graphic novel or it could be a 4-issue miniseries to give them some flexibility. Right. And also you want them to become involved because now they're making a decision. Like if it's just a miniseries, like they're more locked in. So you don't know what their publishing plan is going to be 2 or 3 or 4 years into the future. Right. So I like to give them options. So he was like, yeah, this is really strong. So that was like in 2000.
I was going to ask you how long ago. Yeah.
It was in 2000. It was during the pandemic. So it took a while to get a yes back. But that's something else I learned working in comics is like, I know Image Comics is like, if you don't hear from us, that's a no. Most other places, if you are invited to send them something, or you have some back and forth communication, not hearing from them is usually good news because that means it's moved up the chain. And another thing I learned is that it's not just your editor or the person that you're pitching that gets to make that decision. There's a publishing committee most places, or editors get together and they talk about all the projects that they have in the future. And this has happened to me a couple of times where I have an editor who likes what I'm pitching them, and they bring it to a meeting and talk to all the other editors about what they're doing. I'm like, oh, it's kind of similar to something that we already have in the pipeline. That's happened to me twice where projects have gotten pretty far along. So, I did the 3 sentences and then they asked for more.
Yeah, right. Now, do they ask for artwork at that point? Like, is that,
I didn't have an artist at that point. I had sent them a few options of people that I knew and would like to work with.
Gotcha.
And they were like, yeah, any of these would be great. And I had worked with Alberto Masiaggi on a comic called The Cicada a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And we had a rough time with that situation, which is a whole other thing. But through that, him and I bonded. I, and Paul Little all worked on that. And we were all like, one day we're going to have an easy project. I promise you guys. So when the door opened at Dark Horse and I had a publisher and I had a budget, I was like, hopefully I can get Alberto and reward him for being patient with me on this other thing that went down in flames.
Wow.
And it was awesome. We got the band back together and it was such an easy road. This was the easiest project I've ever had.
That's awesome.
Partly because of the support of Dark Horse was there. It wasn't all on my shoulders, so I wasn't all stressed out about it. But just also, that when you work for Dark Horse or a company like Dark Horse, it's coming out. People are going to see it.
Yeah.
There is an element of exposure there, but also like affirmation. Like you're good enough to be a Dark Horse creator. That's huge, So I was really grateful that I got to reunite my team and hopefully we'll continue working together because the three of us really and we just like each other. You know what I mean? Neil Gaiman gave this commencement speech at a college once, and I always bring this up to my students and just about anybody. There's three things that you really need to succeed as a freelancer. You need to have talent. Like you can work. I've grinded out talent. I was not born with talent. You can meet your deadlines, which is something that we can all control, and you can be easy to work with, like pleasant to work with.
Interesting, yeah.
And Alberto kicks all three of those. He's talented. He's just a lovely, charming human being that I like interacting with, and he's talented.
Yeah.
So if you've ever seen a comic book that you thought was terrible, or you're like, why does this guy keep getting work?
Yeah.
It's because they've got the other two. They might not have talent, but they meet their deadlines and they're pleasant to work with. And that makes a publisher's life so much easier.
Yeah.
Talent stuff, man.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. It's tough. So you've been working on this thing since 2020 then, right? So it took how long did the writing is one thing, but the art, how long did that take to come in? Was that something that took a while, or how long does it normally like that take?
I think so I wrote the outline and the first issue really, really quickly. And then I set it aside and then I pitched it. So it got picked up, it got approved. And then I think we waited a while for Alberto's schedule to open up.
Okay.
It might even have been a year that we were just like, yeah, it's not going anywhere. Right. As long as this book takes place in 2039, as long as it's done before then,
you're good.
Yeah. As long as it's still the future,
right?
Okay. Right. So the art, he's pretty quick. He's doing a page a day.
Wow.
And then we're going over the pencils and looking at everything. And a book like this, there's a mystery, there's a thriller, there's a bunch of twists and turns. So we really had to scrutinize the art and be like, okay, is this all lining up? Because we've got stuff in the past, we've got stuff in the present, and then we've got stuff in the future, and it all has to thread together. And honestly, I'm not. I wrote a script. I'm not the brightest guy. I'm going to miss something. So having Brett looking at everything, even Paul caught something late in the game. It was a group effort, and it was just the easiest project. It was such a nice experience. It was like a luxurious experience that I don't know that I'll ever have again.
Yeah.
So this means the world to me, because after this, my ass will probably be kicked back down to Kickstarter.
Back down to Kickstarter.
Down you go, fool. Because you've got to make people money.
Yeah.
They're not going to keep having you coming back and giving you a budget if you don't recoup that in a little bit more. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. I think the concept is commercial enough that it could do well.
Bro. It's dope. Yeah. For those watching, this is Jason McNamara. He's got a book called Past Tense. Comes out July 12th from Dark Horse. So make sure you hit up your local comic book stores and pick that bad boy up. That cover is dope, man. That is a sick freaking. It's creepy as hell, dude. That is great, man. That is great. Thank you. So now let me ask you a question about the kids at school. Did they sign NDAs? I mean, do they know the story? Did they know? How much of it did you let go in the classroom?
We read the outlines together. Look, I read their stuff, and I'll be honest with you. I read it. I know it front and back, and then that class ends, and I'm like,
good for you, man. Yeah.
I can't even remember their names. They will come up to me in the street, and they'll be like, "Do you remember me?" And I'm like,
Who you is?
I have, I think, what's called like post-project amnesia. Like you work on something, and then it's done, and you completely forget it. So someone will ask me something about an older book, and I'll be like, I don't know, like you're just talking gibberish to me. Or they'll be like, this character, they'll name it, like meant a lot to me, and I'm like, okay, is that a thing? Who wrote that? Like, what are you talking about? And like, it's a thing you wrote. And I'm like, okay. I also get this thing that maybe you guys get it too. I don't think creators talk about it enough, and I call it post-project depression.
Yeah.
You guys get that?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I got it real bad.
Yeah.
Post Kickstarter depression. But go ahead.
Yeah, right. Because people are giving you all this attention, and they're giving you money, right? It's like money and attention. You feel like I'm a success,
right?
Especially after the first day. The first day is the best day, and you're like, if every day was like this, my life would be.
You're doing the math in your head.
Yeah, I'm like, oh man. And then like day 5 comes along, and it's like a negative day. and you're like, I'm a fraud, I'm a fool, I should change my name to Mason McNamara and move like a town away and start over.
McNamara.
I think that name's available. I know the website is. But it's true. Like, we go through this Herculean thing, right? Like, you have the germ of an idea. You have this little idea. Well, like, wouldn't this be cool? You build that out into a story. You build it out into a script. You get collaborators involved. Now you're art directing. Now you're problem solving. You took nothing and you made life. And then you put like a barcode on it. And you send it to a printer and you're there and, oh, God, it smells good. And then it's out and people read it. They go, yeah, that was cool, man. Maybe they'll read it. You spent 6 months, a year working on this. They read it in half an hour. They're like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's how you spend your time? That's cool. I'm a lawyer or I'm a doctor. I put a lung in a human being yesterday and I made millions of dollars, but you made dozens of dollars spending your
Dozens of dollars.
Yeah, like a child. Yeah, that's cool. Like a child.
Oh, man.
Like, you run into old friends and they're like, are you still doing that thing? I'm like, yeah, man. Still doing that thing.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, like I'm a child with like a head injury. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, that's great. Well, that's so good for you.
God.
How's that working out for you? I'm like, oh, it's
How's
great.
that working out?
All my credit cards are like, in collections.
Oh my God. Oh.
But I love it. Like, what else am I gonna do at this point?
Right, yeah.
I'm closer to the end than the beginning. So I'm just like, set the controls for the Heart of the Sun. I can't curse on this show, but like, this is the only thing I'm halfway good at.
Oh man. Well,
So,
Jason, listen, man, you're not giving yourself enough credit, dude. I've read your
if I
stuff.
don't, who won't?
It's dope. I'm telling you,
I
the Martian
appreciate it.
Confederacy, bro. The Martian Confederacy. That's
That
all I gotta
blows my
say.
mind that you remember that. But I don't even know that I have a Martian Confederacy anymore.
Yes, I have one upstairs in my house. It's freaking great.
Okay, so Paige Braddock and I, last year we started working on the 3rd volume, and we were going to do a big compendium, recolor, re-letter the first 2, add the 3rd one, and call it the Triumvirate. You heard it here first.
There you go.
Look at
man.
And if you like, you know what? I can put a character named George in there and kill him.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Kill me good, bro.
You want to die?
Yeah.
That was indie news if I ever heard of
Yes, please.
That was breaking news right there, baby.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.,
There
baby.
you go, man. All right. That's awesome, dude.
I'm going to make a little note here.
Please, don't forget. Don't forget.
Kill George. I'm sure
There you go.
I'll remember what it meant when I get around to it. Kill George.
Who the hell is George and why am I killing him?
Yeah, kill George Meds.
That's right. That's right.
Like you're George Ramone from the Ramones. George Meds. Kill George Meds. Seems like a nice guy, but now you gotta die.
Kill him with his old meds. That's it.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
Overdose.
So I want to remind you, as I remind anyone who's done a book in the press, like, this does become a tapestry of someone's life. You know, we are all putting good things out into the world, and it keeps it going. Like, there is an echo that we're all contributing to. And we may not see the the effects in our lifetime, but we're making good things. We're contributing to the art form that we love. And I can't think of a better use of my time. So all the doctors out there, you can keep me alive, but I don't want your job. All the lawyers out there, you can sue me. I don't want your job. But no, I don't give the kids an NDA. But I do have to be careful about what I say in front of the kids.
Right.
Just because I don't want to, if you talk, and I'm sure you two know this, if you talk long enough without interruption, you're going to say something monumentally stupid. Right? That absolutely makes no damn sense.
Right,
and thankfully, I don't have a microphone in front of my face when I do it. I've just got some 20-year-old kids that are probably just staring at their phone.
Right,
like Professor Mack has just been talking too long. I do overshare me personally, but industry stuff, I try and I also don't ever give bad news. I don't want to ever give bad stories, and we all have them, right? It's comics. There's always someone that we could throw under the bus, but I'm trying to stay out of all that and keep it above it. I'm trying to tell the kids just stay positive, and find good people and surround yourself with those good people. That's all. It's about community. This is a lonely craft, and if you can have good people in your life that you can talk to, I've got my support network. You guys know the the writer bros, like Kevin
Writer
Cuff
bros.
and Bob France. Those guys are awesome. Like those guys should be like paid by Medicare to be my therapists. Or like Justin Greenwood is a great guy. I love him to bits. You know, you have your good people that keep you up and remind you that this is a marathon. It's not a race. Like this is, we got to take care of each other, take care of ourselves, and take care of this community and keep it healthy and keep making cool shit. And that's all I can control. That's all I want to do is make cool shit and then, you know, die peacefully in my sleep. Not now, but like months from now.
You got to kill me first, Jason. You got to kill me first.
Yeah, I gotta shut out your lights.
Yeah, change the pills in his meds.
Yeah. I gotta whack you out. Maybe I'll make a twofer. We'll go together. Maybe I'll make some cool shit. We'll run a Kickstarter, and then we'll take each other out.
That's it. It's over.
Yeah, and then we don't have to ship any books.
That's
Keep the money.
That's it, man. That's it. Oh, Jay, man, this has been fun, man. As always, I love chatting and chopping it up with you. Whenever you want, please come back on the show. Please come back on the show. But why don't you give us that pitch one more time for Past Tense?
Yes.
All right.
I will give you the screen. The screen's yours. You know, why Past Tense and where can they find you on social media? So it's all yours.
Ashley is a tour guide at Past Tense, a company that sends camera drones into the past to view history's most depraved events. When Ashley discovers Silas Green, an unknown serial killer working in the past, she begins hosting exclusive tours of his murders. The only problem? Silas is still alive in the present, and when he learns of his newfound infamy, he's inspired to come out of retirement to make Ashley his final victim, now and forever.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Comes out July 12th from Dark Horse Comics. And it's a cautionary scientific tale about our ever evolving privacy rights, our loss of privacy. And I hope that it gives you something to think about. Good science fiction should make you think about the times that you live in. Absolutely. And start a conversation. But I'm very generally I'm pretty apolitical in comics. But when it comes to like big ideas, I want to give you something to chew on and put it within a genre piece and not just like yell at the audience, you know?
Yeah, no, makes sense. And where can they find you, Jay?
They can find me at jason-mcnamara.com or politestrangers.com.
Awesome.
This would both go to the same place.
The website right there.
I've got a store. You can. Some of my books are still in print. Some of them are out of print, coming back. And on Twitter, I'm at Jason McNamara. And in general, you can you can also find me in Portland driving Lyft. I'm creative. I'm a terrible Lyft driver. I do.
I said I do.
A wedding the other day, and I always put stuff in the trunk and forget about it. So I drove away with the wedding gifts.
Oh no!
Yeah, and none of those clothes fit me. It was terrible. So.
Oh man! Awesome.
True.
Awesome.
People like we'll go to this restaurant. I'm like, why do you want to eat there? I had this couple in the back, and they got in, and the wife asked the husband, like, "Are you hungry?" And he's like, "No, not really." And I was driving there, and for some reason, I'm like, "Oh, hey, there's your exit," and I just passed the exit, and like it goes from like you're 3 minutes away to like you're 17 minutes away. And the guy was like, oh, wait, did you just add 15 minutes to our ride? And I was like, yeah, but here's the good news, buddy. By the time you get there, you're going to be hungry. No one thinks it's funny.
No one thinks it's funny.
Also, I play the Taxi Driver soundtrack all the time. No one thinks that's funny either.
That is great, dude.
No one gets it. I'm like, what is this? Like,
what is this?
I don't know. It just came on.
That's horrible.
And then I say, hey, would you mind taking the SIM card out of your phone and putting it in the back next to that tarp and the shovel I got back there?
Wow.
This is just going to make my phone run a lot better.
Nice. Oh, man. That's crazy.
Oh, Jason.
Yeah, so,
Jason. Dude, you got to come back, man. Thank you so much for coming
thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
Praise
brother.
the Dark Lord.
That is Jason McNamara, everybody. Past Tense is coming out July 12th on Dark Horse, from Dark Horse. So make sure you pick that up. Yes,
and I'll be doing a signing that day. If you're in Portland, come to Cosmic Monkey.
Cosmic Monkey.
Cosmic Monkey from 4 to 6. Yeah,
dude. I think they have my book at Cosmic Monkey. The Adventures of Wonder Duck.
I will shoplift that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Put that right in my bag.
Maybe
I'll sign it and put it back on the shelf. It'll be worth more because you'll be dead by then.
There you go.
I'll be like, hey, I killed that guy. I know him.
You gotta send me photos from that location, brother. Oh, dude, this is fun. This is fun.
Thank
man.
you, gents.
Yeah, thank you, buddy.
My friend.
You've been wonderful.
All right, you too, man.
Go find a real writer to be on your show.
Peace.
Oh, Jason McNamara.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. It was fascinating. And again, guys, there's a lot of nuggets in this conversation that you can take away if you're an aspiring writer, comic book creator. There's a lot of great information in that interview, which is pretty fantastic. I enjoyed this, man.
Yeah, just the pitch, just how to pitch 3 sentences with a question at the end.
With the question at the end. Who knew?
Who knew?
Did you know?
I had no idea.
I didn't know.
I know nothing.
I know nothing. I just know that show me your kitties. That's what I know.
Wow. Whoa. Whoa.
Show me the meow.
Wow. He's been drinking, people. I apologize.
I've been drinking.
Drinking. Oh man, that was a fun show, man.
It was a fantastic show. These are the kind of shows that I love, man. Hey, yo, you want to be a guest on Cast the Craze? Take a tip, take a lesson from this, man. I mean, just charismatic, funny, knowledgeable. I mean, just great storyteller. I mean, it was fantastic.
And he's a talented writer, man. He's got some good stuff. So if you guys are in the Portland area, Cosmic Monkey, go to the store.
What you call me?
Get the past tense signed by Jason McNamara. He may even sign some Wonder Duck books over there too. So check him out. Get out there. Thanks, Lou.
What'd you say to me?
What you call me? What you call me? Yeah. So make sure you head out there. Jason McNamara, past tense, comes out July 12th. Ask your local comic book shop. Hey, man, you guys getting past tense? Make sure they order it. Let's get this man sold out. Let's sell his books out so he can come out with another one from Dark Horse.
That alone is legit.
Yeah.
It has like a Minority Report,
right?
Read 7 type feel to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like
that vibe. Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, it's really cool, man. Really cool, really cool. So check that out. Thank you guys for watching this show tonight. Thank you, Sam, for making this show.
For making it, yeah. I broke all the speed limits. I got state troopers still looking for me. I was like, yo, I prayed first. I was like, Lord, let me get there safely. I was like, all right. I was out. I was like, yo, I did an hour drive in 28 minutes. I was like, yeah.
Good for you, buddy.
I know, yo, a beast. Yeah. It's like, but you know what? But even at that speed, I always had about 6 to 8 car lengths in front of me. I was like,
damn, so there were people driving you in faster than you.
Oh yeah, but yes, but because when you have to put the brakes, you need that distance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so I always put the distance. I hate the guys that go in front of you and they only give you like a half a car length when they cut in front of you at that speed. Those guys drive me nuts. But yeah, it's thanks, Spider.
Yeah, Spider Trooper. Thank you for stopping in.
Oh, look at that,
up, JD.
What's up?
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's I didn't know if I was gonna get out of work on time. I was like, I had all these meetings. I was like, oh man, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of her.
I gotta get out of her. And I'm glad. Yeah. Aren't you glad you did? This was a great interview with Mr. Jason McNamara.
It was a fantastic. No, when I looked at his website and I looked at his resume, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a great interview, And so, but again, it's like, it's one of the things I get excited when I have guests like Jason on the show because they're great storytellers. They're charismatic. They have presence, and I think that's the biggest thing. Sometimes it's hard when we're pulling teeth from some guests, and it's a little awkward. So when you want to go and spotlight your stuff, make sure that you're bringing your best foot forward and have fun, man. Just let up. When you're with us, there's nothing to worry about. You're amongst friends.
Cool.
We talk about murder here and there, but yeah, we got you.
I'm getting killed. I'm getting killed.
I know,
in the book soon.
Yeah, George is getting whacked.
I'm getting whacked, son. I'm getting whacked. It's gonna be over. It's gonna be over.
It's gonna be over.
Oh man.
But
Speaking of over, I think we're done here today.
I think we're done, but don't forget,
Yes.
come August, I will be at what is it? The Denton Comic Art Exposition. I'll be there, and I will also be at the Collected Comics, the brand new the opening of the brand new locations. It's number 4. I think this is number 4 in their roster. They got a bunch of locations in Texas. So I'll be there for a book signing at Collected Comics in August. I'll be there with the likes of Paul Gomez and Ben Dunn and someone else. I don't have the name on the list, but you can check us out there. If you back the Kickstarter, the proofs have come in. Here are the books, issue 5 and the graphic novel. There's an alien in my toilet. I approved the proofs several days ago, so I'm just waiting for the shipment to arrive. The proofs look amazing. I'm pretty excited about it. I was like a kid bawling. So as soon as I get it, I'll start shipping it out to you guys. And don't forget to visit akidinthecomic.com, A Kid in the Comic, where Duty is also in a comic strip in a newspaper. So you can get Duty as a comic book from dutiesworld.com. Or you can go to kidinthecomic.com and subscribe and get the newspapers delivered to your house, or go to your local comic store and ask them to order a copy of A Kid in the Comic and carry it there. So that's pretty dope. And what is it? What did you say? Life is a car. We break down and we get back up. Absolutely. Good night, guys. Stop killing folks. Yes, I know.
Later, dog.
And don't forget to check out The Art of Samuel. That's my art channel, where I also give you behind the scenes stuff of what's going on. And subscribe to this channel if you like this episode. Don't forget, and go check out Get Your Meds. Tell them about that, George.
Get Your Meds with a Z.com. Check out the website. That's where you can get my books, The Adventures of Wonder Duck. You can also get Russ 5377. You can get apparel. Go check out anyoneworld.com. That's where you're going to be able to get the first issue digitally of Russ 5377 on June 28th. And for my peoples out in Portland, Cosmic Monkey Comics has
what you call me?
Of Wonder Duck. They have the Adventures of Wonder Duck on their shelves. Our friend Jason McNamara from that was on the show today has a book called Past Tense. He'll be signing books there on July 12th when the book comes out, and I'll be doing a signing in Flushing, Queens, on July 19th from 3 to 6 p.m. with Mark Torres and the gang for his book Designated, which I lettered. So check all of that stuff out. And don't forget to obviously subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, don't forget, if you like this episode, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, like, share. Remember, when we grow, the indie community grows, and we do this to spotlight the unsung heroes, the up and comers, those with that don't have the means to really get out there. So your support of this channel helps support our guests. So when we grow, everybody grows. So thank you again for watching Catch the Craze podcast. We appreciate every single one of you out there. With that said, I'm Sam, the crazy man, Vera.
George, the dreamer, Medina.
And we are out.
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy.
Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him.
Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
He described me. He said, I'm the what?
Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.